Is this better? Can you hear me now? Let's try this again. All right, so it looks like I'm back. So we have about 10 minutes of me talking with no sound. Fantastic. That's how my day's been going. So I'll recap. I was putting on a roof today and I was listening to Ken McElroy talking about the housing shortage. And so I just kind of pulled up some local stats here. He talked about how Canada's got an immigration problem, and it's put in a lot of strain on the housing and the different services up there. So they're going to try to slow down the amount of immigration coming in. So I did some AI search on it, and the estimates out there from DHS and other local surveys and studies, the AI is saying it's roughly 95,000 illegal immigrants in the Twin Cities greater metro area. It's a rough number, but it's kind of, it gives us a good estimate. And then there's about 1,553,500 housing units in the Twin Cities metro area. So 90 to 100,000 new illegal immigrants. That's demand for housing. And then we were already short about 76,500 units based off of Met Council's estimates. So we're sitting at about 175,000, give or take, housing units, the demand and the housing units short. So that's why we're not seeing any drop in pricing in the Twin Cities. And we're seeing this across the country. The demand was, when the 2007 2008 market, the housing crash, all the loans reset, there wasn't a lot of demand for new construction because the amount of inventory coming to the market that you could buy cheap on these houses that were in foreclosure, and then the banks weren't lending for any new construction either. So that knocked a lot of home builders out of the market. A lot of the small mom and pop shops that built homes went out of business, and it left basically the national home builders that were able to survive, and then they control the land now, so you don't have any small builders building. So that puts further strain on the housing supply in the Twin Cities. So that's kind of what we're seeing, and I thought it was kind of interesting how Ken was talking about how Canada is changing its policies, and I think we're going to have to see that in this country at some point. We're a little further behind than Canada on that one. So this is the housing shortage tracker by Realtor Association, National Association of Realtors, and if we zoom in to Twin Cities here. New single family permit is issued in every 3 new jobs, so they base this off of job growth. So we're pretty close to keeping in pace. We've got a lot of national home builders there. Rochester, there's more demand for single family homes. And then you can kind of see parts of Texas. Blue is they've got plenty of supply. These are kind of the boom areas where they probably overbuilt. So. And then Miami's still showing a shortage, but this was pre-hurricane, and this was, I believe this was September. September 2024 was their last update. So that's showing us the shortage that we have right now. And then if we look at our info sparks locally here, we'll go to, okay, here we go. So this is the homes for sale. This was a 2008 market. We had about 34,000 homes for sale in the Twin Cities. Now we're down to about 8,500. 2022, we hit a low of about 6,800. So with this low of inventory of homes for sale right now, we're not going to see any price increases. Pending sales have dropped since the 2022 kind of in here. Pending sales just have kind of crashed as interest rates went up. Closed sales, they've crashed to, they're back down around 2011 levels, 2012. Days on market, yeah, that's really climbed up to 21 days on market average. You look back here, 116 days. Month supply, We're at about a 2.3 month supply. It used to be if you were sitting around 5-6 months supply, this was considered a balanced market. Anything above like 6 months supply was a buyer's market, and then balanced market right around 5 or 6, and then anything below that would be a buyer's market. So we're still in a buyer's market based on that, but the market's acting a little strange because of the interest rates. Sales price is still climbing. This was August, September, so we don't have October's data yet. Original list price, percent of original list price, 100%. We're not seeing a lot of drop in list prices yet. Percent of median, percent of last list price, we're still showing around 100%. We are seeing price reductions out there. I suspect this is going to dip a little bit, but remember, it didn't dip that much way back in 2008 either. So that list price, well, go percentage of list price, original list price. We almost saw a 10% drop back then. So we're not going to see that, the 40%. Overall, we did have a 40% drop in the Twin Cities, but that doesn't show it on the stats. Then showings per pending, we're still around 10 showings, 11 showings for every house that goes pending. That's median. Average, it's crunching the numbers, I shouldn't have clicked on that, is right around 13, so not a big difference. And then the showings per listing has dropped substantially, back to pre-pandemic levels. So that's what we got here. So I just kind of had a long couple weeks here working on the houses, getting that Plymouth house that I took back from the renters. I put a rubber membrane roof on that today, the last few days, and that was quite a project. Next step, it's painted. Now I just got to clean up, get that mess cleaned out. Then I'll start putting cabinets in. I'll probably start that next week. Take a few days off of that project for a little bit and get recouped, and try to get caught up on all my other stuff here. So I just wanted to check in and share what I was kind of playing around with the numbers on. I'm kind of bouncing around that AI a little bit, trying to learn it. That is kind of funny because when I looked up the housing units on there for the Twin Cities, it says there's no estimate on the number of housing units in the Twin Cities, and I'm like, there is. So I had the reference saved in my favorites, and I sent them, and yeah, absolutely. Showing the grind. Yeah, so I had the estimate, and I sent the AI the link, and it says, oh, well, there's no estimate on housing units in there. And then I copied and pasted exactly where it said that in the article. And then it says, oh yes, there's 1,553,000 housing units in the Twin Cities. So I still had to trick it to make it come up. Schwain, hey James. Where's the opportunity at? That's a great question. I think we're going to see some of this multifamily come to market, and I think there's going to be discounts on that. Probably that C-class multifamily stuff that was bought at a low cap rate, and as insurance rates and expenses go up and taxes go up, and if they got any sort of loans that are resetting, there's probably going to be some distressed assets coming. So I think we're going to see some of these local community banks taking back some inventory. I think that's the next opportunity. So I know your buy box, you're looking at multifamily, the smaller stuff. You may want to talk to some of the community banks, just introduce yourself and just say you're in the market, that you're looking for, maybe up to 10 units or 4 units. And that's kind of what I want to do when I get some time to, I saw that hit the market again. I did see that come back, so I'd be curious sometime to have you explain what exactly happened there. Yeah, I saw that it canceled, I think, on the MLS, and I thought of you. So that was a nice property, but it had a lot of hair on it, it looked like. So definitely, we'll go grab coffee or something here this week. So I don't know if you're around tomorrow afternoon. Let's connect in the morning. But I think that's where the opportunities are. Less pendant, yes. pending lawsuit. Hey Craig, what's your opinion on mortgage rate increase after the Fed cut? Well, that zigged when it should have zagged. I was expecting rates to go down. I'm not sure why it went the other direction. The markets are spooked. The banks have fear. Um, I'm shocked that they're at 7%. I thought they would have hovered right around 6, and I thought we would have seen something dip into the mid fives. Um, there's something greater going on in the market. I've been trying to listen to some people that are smarter than me on that, and I don't have any answers on it yet. My gut is at some point it is going to drop below 6 again, but it may be further out than the economy's doing too well. Yeah, I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think there's something else happening, but maybe you're right. There's a lot of debt in the system. Maybe you're right. Maybe there's still a lot of cash floating out there, so things are still humming along. So, but I think we're in tougher shape than the stats realize, and I think the Fed knows it, and I think that's why the Fed cut. So I'm not sure why mortgage rates and the 10-year responded different. But it has to. My gut is it has to do with some sort of fear. Somehow they're spooked, and I'm not sure how to explain it other than that. So I'm set to refi here. I was kind of gambling the rates were going to drop below 6 or right around 6, and I would be in good shape. And they went the other direction, and I really don't want to refi sitting at about 7. So if I refi my commercial stuff, I'm going to be closer to that 8 mark, and I don't want to do that. That's going to kill cash flow. So I'm going to hang tight and try to keep my budget super tight so I don't need that cash out. So that's kind of where I see things at. I've been looking at some opportunities at businesses for sale. I still can't seem to find a business that makes sense to buy. It seems like everything I look at is a job. You're buying a job. Ooh, nice. Tell us about that, Schwain. 5.99. Refi closes tomorrow. That's owner occupied, correct? Or is that a DSCR loan? DSCR loan might actually be priced lower than the conventionals. Yes to owner occupied. That's a big deal, saving $500 a month. Then James, you're saying the Fed has lost control. They may have. Their lumberjack landlord. Do you ever listen to him? Not lumberjack landlord, but who's the guy out in? I can't think of his name now. He talks about the economics a lot. He says the Fed's real power right now is just their forward guidance. The Fed speak. Their actual rate cuts really don't have an impact on the market anymore. It's just the perception of what they're going to do is what the market responds to, and the actual cuts don't make a difference anymore. So you might be right, James, that their cuts really don't have an impact anymore because that's already baked into the cake because everyone's listening to their speak ahead of time. Okay, so Schwain, you dropped from 7.65 to 5.99. Perception, absolutely. Saving $500 a month, and went to basically 6%. That's a big drop. That's a lot of money. That's a car payment. Now you can go out and buy a new car. Speaking of which, I finally had to get rid of my truck, and I traded that in for a new one. Yeah, I do believe the election has an impact here, and I'm not sure why. You know, I can understand the fear of what direction the economy is going to go, but it's a slow-moving train. There's a lot of time to react, and if you're buying an investment, you're buying a house. I mean, I'm not sure that I wouldn't not buy an investment property depending on who wins the election. Like I would still buy. I may not take as big a risks on it. I may not leverage up as much, but I'm still going to invest. I'm still going to buy. And if I'm buying a house, I still need a place to live no matter who wins the election, unless I'm so to the point that I'm just going to relocate out of the country and, like all the Hollywood celebrities move to Canada if I don't get my way. So, maybe that's it. But yeah, there is enough fear in the market that I do believe people are waiting till after the election. And I heard one agent online talking about wait till after the election before dropping your price on your listings, just because that buyer activity is low. But I think it has more to do with the inflation. People are feeling pinched. I know I am. And, high interest rates, you're kind of locked into that house, because unless you get a good deal like Schwayne got at 6%, um, you're you're going to trade up for a big payment for just gaining one extra bedroom. Um, yeah, this is Schwayne. This is exactly what I was talking about on what Ken McElroy was talking about. Canada is stopping their immigration, including foreign medical students, and then not letting them stay after their graduation. And um, they're they're struggling with a lot of different things up there. It's such an infrastructure problem when you add that many people to a system. If you're moving 100,000 people into the Twin Cities, that puts a lot of drag on all the social services, all the infrastructure, the housing units. That's a big jump. That's like if a small town gets a new big manufacturing plant and all these people move in. That's a lot of strain on a new system. So yeah, that Canada's struggling with that. They're ahead of us as far as the problem goes, and they're addressing stuff that we're going to have to deal with later down the road. And they created some new lending programs to help build new rentals. Yeah, I didn't dig into that, but he did mention something about that. I might have been swinging a hammer when he was talking about that and kind of missed exactly the details. That's right, you have Canadian connections. This may be a good opportunity for you. Yeah, my grandfather was from Canada, Manitoba, so maybe I can get dual citizenship. So, but yeah, it's been a long day. I had to switch. My emails weren't working. I found out I was paying like $1,400 a year for my web services, and it was with Bluehost, and I was astonished at how much it was. So I switched over to a different hosting company, and I'm rebuilding my websites, and suddenly all my emails aren't working. So I'm scrambling tonight to get my emails back up and working, and just nothing's easy. Nothing's easy. So yeah, we should talk about that. I think you're in the Thunder Bay area, aren't you, Schwayne? And I don't think Canadian will they allow a U.S. citizen to buy real estate there? I thought they changed that. Robert, need to kick remote capable jobs to rural areas where there is housing stock. That would be brilliant. I mean, you don't have to go that far out of the Twin Cities either to get some affordable housing. I mean, if you jump out to Litchfield or to Hutchinson, they've got a good industrial base out there. They got good jobs and it's commutable. I mean, they're within an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to the West Metro. So yeah, if you could do some remote work out there, you could live like a king. You could get a nice house out there. You can go north of the cities, same deal. South of the cities until you get near Rochester, then that gets pretty pricey. But that's got an economy of its own, and they've got a housing shortage to begin with. Yeah, or jump into Wisconsin, and then that's true anywhere across the country. You get out of the big metro regions. That would be a great solution, that remote work. But I think employers are starting to call people back, and they're probably being pressured a little bit by some of the lenders, to prevent that commercial real estate collapse. Get some of these leases back up. I understand leases are coming back up a little bit. I'll have to check in on that. I know there's some deep discounts on that Class A office space right now, or the Class B and C is taking a bloodbath too. So, all right, what else we got? So Robert in Northwest Oklahoma got a friend's dad who had moved to Oklahoma City for work, and he's trying to sell a 2,200 square foot home, 2018 build for 225,000. Holy buckets! What are taxes like there? 225,000. If you finance the whole deal, you're at about a $1,400 a month payment at that. You know, owner occ around 6%. I use $6 per thousand, so 225 times 6, 1,350. So somewhere in there might be a little bit more. Add in taxes and insurance, you're still probably 1,600 bucks a month. And living in a 2,200 square foot home built in 2018, that's phenomenal. Yeah, I saw some of that, Robert, the 90% discounts on some of that stuff. I know a guy who's got a big building downtown St. Paul, and he had to let that go back to the bank. He couldn't keep tenants. He had all the homeless people out front of his building, so all his tenants ended up moving out. So people are, shooting drugs in the front. People don't want to come into their office space like that. So he had to let that go back to the bank, and he's been investing for years. He knows what he's doing. So it's a real shame to watch some of this stuff go down because of the poor management of a city. St. Paul's in tough shape, and there's a bunch of buildings in St. Paul in foreclosure right now. So it's going to be a real mess on our hands, and I think we're probably going to see a big hit to these banks, like probably bigger than the housing market crash. The difference is they're going to know how to extend and pretend. They're going to know how to pass this off to Wall Street investors, but there's still going to be plenty of scraps for small people like us to pick up. All right, have a good night, Robert. Thanks for checking in. I'm going to have to sign off here too. It's getting late. But thanks for signing on. I'll try to get to this more often. I got to get that project wrapped up. I've just kind of been burning the midnight oil on that. So. And Schwayne, why don't we connect in the morning and maybe we can grab coffee tomorrow. So signing off, guys, and thanks for checking in, and we'll talk later. Have a good night.